It's one of those mornings. Have to bang the gong again because we're so excited and enthusiastic. What a fall it has been here at UUC Asheville. Do we agree? The energy's low. Energy's low. All right. Well, I agree. I think it's been amazing. I also am feeling the long season, and it's joyful to be together this morning here in person, or if you're joining us online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever brings you here today to be with us in love, we are glad that you are here. And we have a wonderful team with us, as we often do. Dr. Les and our incredible UUC Asheville Choir. Do we love them? Simon Jacobs is handling our tech. He takes notes up until the very moment we start, sometimes even after. It's a hard job, so you have to go give a little shout out of thanks to Simon as well. Just a reminder that every single Sunday we have folks who are volunteering to be our ushers, to help with newcomers or to get you into a seat when it's crowded. And we have folks who are taking care of our kiddos and teaching them and loving them in religious education. And so we hold them both in our hearts and in the possibility that you may join them. Terrific. Thank you so much. Yes. And we also have a worship associate, a new one, Shawn Gibson. And Shawn is an aspirant, and he's in seminary at our UU Identity School, Meadville, Lombard, just in case you did not know that. So I just want to welcome you all here today, and I want to invite you in such an exciting, beautiful, busy morning to just take a deep breath, and we're going to hear these words of Leonard Cohen, who wrote, "Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Welcome. It's good to be together.
Each Good morning. I'd like to invite Bella forward to light the chalice. Bella Murphy. Hi. It's so good to see you. As we light our chalice this morning, let us hear the words of Maya Angelou. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Lift up your eyes upon the day breaking for you. Let us give birth again to that dream.
We're going to sing Meditation on Breathing, hymn 1009. We haven't done this in a while, so I have a little bit of instruction. So it has 3 parts. We're going to start with the drone that sounds like this. And so forth. Then I will give a count of 3 in tempo, and if you so choose, you can sing the melody with the altos. It goes like this. You can sing that, or you can keep on droning if you'd like. The basses will be droning. And then, once we do that, we're going to add the descant. So here's how that sounds. The sopranos and tenors will be singing that. You can sing with them if you like. So once we get all the parts going, we're going to just circle around. You know the routine by now. I'll just keep doing this. And we'll just keep singing, hopefully without the piano, and then I'll cut you off. All right, so here we go. Here's the drone part. Here we go, and. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. 1, 2, 3. I breathe in, I breathe in peace. I breathe out, I breathe out love. I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Thank you.
Good morning. I would like to introduce you guys to someone. Is anybody interested in meeting who I have right here? A couple of folks. A puppy. This is my very first love, Henry. Did any of you have a love with you today? I see a couple of loves in here. Who's this? Fiona is with you today. Is Fiona your love? Do you have a love? Who's that? Lucky Duck. And anybody else have a love with them today? Do you? Do you have a love at home?
Bubby.
Bubby, who's that?
Furball or furball.
Furball. Most of us have a love, right? Someone or something or a little stuffy that we love. And I'm going to tell you about Henry. So I got Henry when I was younger than 7. I don't remember because I remember always having Henry. And, I had a really sad time. I don't know if any of you have had a sad time. My parents got divorced when I was little, and I had a sad time, but Henry was there. Yeah, and I had other friends going through those kinds of things, and we talked together. And then another time, I moved as a teenager to another country, and Henry came with me then. Yeah, has anybody ever been to another country? Anyone? Did you take something with you, a love? Your dad got born in Switzerland, and now he has a love here in the U.S., right, with you? Yeah. Oh, yeah, to go traveling to see your grandpas and cousins and aunts and uncles. That's amazing. Cincinnati is awesome. So, yay, some Cincinnati people in the house, clearly. So let me show you something that's going on with Henry right now. Do you see right here on his leg? Uh-oh, we got a problem. I keep him in my bedroom. Y'all, be clear. Henry has been with me this whole time. But he has a little hole, right? And I need to take care of him. How do you think I should do that? What should I do? What do you think I should do? Sew it. I think so too. That's probably the best idea, right?
I had a pet dinosaur, and I pretended he was hot when he was whipped, and I got a Band-Aid for him. And my brother, he had a stuffy, and
Did it get ripped?
he got whipped by the tail, and he just sewed it to get out.
Yeah, let me tell folks what you said. So you had a stuffy and it got ripped and you pretended like it needed some care. And so you put a Band-Aid, and then when your the dinosaur tail got ripped, you sewed it back on, right? Yeah, so yes. Can you say it again? I could patch it. But the main thing that I think we're talking about is we want to take care of it, right? Like we don't just leave it and not take care of it. And did you know, maybe you already know this, that this congregation is a place where we take care of things. Sometimes we sew a stuffy. We could do that. I can do it in my office. But mostly we take care of each other. Has anybody ever taken care of you here, helped you with something, maybe got you something to eat or gave you a hug? Has anything like that ever happened to you here? No? Uh-oh, we got a problem, guys. There's a problem here. Yeah, right? It's happened, right? How about you? Has anyone here ever helped? If someone here has helped you, would you just let us know? Someone took care of you from this place, right? Yeah. And that's what we're about, and that's also what we're going to be talking about in here today. So we're getting ready to sing you guys down to your classes, but later, when we're celebrating at the holiday fair or you're taking some soup home to go, would you ask your grown-up about what we talked about how we take care of each other? Because that's an important thing that we do here. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to sing you out to your classes. If you're a visitor or a newcomer, and you might want to go with your kiddo to find out who their teachers are and where to pick them up after the service. But otherwise, we're going to sing to you. And that's another way we take care of you, right? All right, let's sing As You Go. we're going to take a moment now and recognize lives that have been lost over the past year. This is a time when we observe Trans Day of Remembrance. There are a lot of ways you can do that, including on Monday at New Belgium Brewery. We're having an in-person service. You can find out more about that in the e-news. But for now, we're just going to take a time to observe here in our sanctuary. If you're ever wondering if the love that we give or the work that we do doesn't matter, please remember their names. It matters. And so it's good that we are together and that we remember and that we work for a different world. And now we come to that time in our service when we hold together our joys and our sorrows. And Shawn and I are going to come over to the bowls. Into the bowl of water, we sprinkle petals that allow us to represent all those joyful things that we hold in our hearts. And we sprinkle just a tiny bit of salt into the taller vessel to represent our tears and the sorrows that we hold. That's plenty, just a tiny bit. And we invite you to come forward and form two lines and place a rock into whichever vessel that you need to, or perhaps both, if that works for you. So together we breathe and we add a rock to each vessel for all of those joys and concerns you may be still holding in your hearts, or the ones that are in the hearts of our beloveds, even though they may not be with us this morning, because near or far, we are one community. And now, too, we light a peace candle, for I know our hearts are weary with war, and each of us carries that in our hearts every day. So together we light that candle for peace. Sometimes it seems as though the flame goes out, but there is always another way to light it. You just have to look for it. Peace is worth working for.
Good morning. I call this Reflections. A dear old friend decided to pay me a visit last week. He just happened to be in town and said he thought he'd come by and say hello. I had heard he might be in town, and still it would have been nice if he had called first. He's just simply one of those people. You never know when he's going to turn up or for how long he's going to stay. Sometimes he shows up unannounced and doesn't leave for weeks at a time. I've learned to live with it. Yet, this last visit reminded me of why we sometimes don't get along. We tend to bring out the worst in each other. When he's here, all he does is seems to lay around the house. And let me tell you, he knows how to take a nap. I think he's perfected the art. He doesn't really do much, and he doesn't really pick up after himself, and frankly, he's not very nice. He's always pointing out my flaws and what I should or shouldn't have done in any given situation. And usually I just try to ignore him, but it's not always easy to do. When he really pushes my buttons, I call him names and let him know what I really think about him. Between you and me, I'm ready for him to go away again. But I know when I get back home, there he'll be, staring at me through the looking glass. And still, through it all, he is my dearest and oldest friend, and I love him very much.
Y'all, I'm going to admit it. I am tired. Is anyone else here tired? Anybody? Yeah. I mean, it's a good kind of tired, right? It's really the best kind of tired, the kind of tired that comes from doing good work with great people and also finding lots of joy along the way. But whew, we have had an intense fall, a successful one, a marvelous one. My friend Julian Jamaica Soto wrote, "My prayers for these stressful days have become sharpened, unadorned. A single word to the bereaved and wailing Mother God, mercy. 2 words to the infant child God on trial in an unjust system, tender love. And for the God who is not a white-robed, bearded father, but a migrant laborer daddy with a red baseball cap who only cries when he thinks no one can see, not a word, but a silent squeeze of his calloused hand to telegraph reconciliation, wholeness. There was a time when more words brought more comfort, but now my heart wants most to be true, ready for resistance by unapologetic clarity and fueled by moving toward a future in which we have made all of us free." You know, every one of us is showing up today within the bitter context of a war about which almost all of us are torn, horrified by terrorism, heartbroken over again rising anti-Semitism, morally rent by the murderous effects of war on people long caught in the middle with no clear answers anywhere in sight. And most of us are acutely aware of the current threats to democracy and the absolute clarity of the signs of rising fascism, a reality that I think none of us really feels ready to confront head on in the way that the times demand. Now, if you add any of that to the things that beloveds within this community are dealing with personally, you know, health concerns or financial concerns or relationship struggles or just any of the myriad of human woes that we face at one time or another, you know, it's a lot. It's just a lot. That's an exciting sound. It's also a lot. And we've just been dealing with a lot for a long time now. And you know, the human urge is to just hope that things will get back to normal soon. Or, of course, to say, this too shall pass. And it will pass. I mean, everything does pass in time. But it's actually not particularly adaptive to just grit your teeth and hang on, hoping that things will revert to some previous state. That's not what makes us resilient or strong, or even effectively vulnerable and capable of change and adaptation. No, that requires something different. Now, the Japanese have a particularly beautiful form of art called kintsugi, and it means golden joinery. It's the art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer dusted or mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. And you've probably seen a piece. It looks like this. Writer Christy Bartlett says, "Not only is there no attempt," let's go back to it for 1 second, just for one brief minute. Thanks, Simon. "Not only is there no attempt to hide the damage, but the repair is literally illuminated, a kind of physical expression of the spirit of Mushin. Mushin is often literally translated as no mind, but it carries these connotations of fully existing within the moment, of non-attachment, of equanimity amid changing conditions. The vicissitudes of existence over time to which all humans are susceptible could not be clearer than in the breaks, the knocks, and the shattering to which ceramic ware is all too subject. And this poignancy or aesthetic of existence has been known in Japan as mono-no-aware, a compassionate sensitivity, or perhaps an identification with breakable things outside oneself. Thanks, Simon. To build a life or a community of beloveds where there is no attempt to hide the damage we sustain, but instead illuminate the repair, and to allow the places where brokenness is healed to be seen or to be understood as beautiful, that is a form of resilience that can sustain us. I mean, we know life will break us, but that we can be both repaired and part of reparations. That's a theology that can carry us through times both good and bad, without any demand, without any expectation that we will return to some former time or former state. We will break. We will repair. Repair may be difficult, painstaking, full of hard or complex work, but it is beautiful. It allows us a new kind of wholeness. And I had an interesting conversation with a member this week who had heard, somehow we always hear things. They had heard that I don't recognize Trans Day of Remembrance. Now, of course, nothing could be further from the truth. I've been involved in TDR remembrance services for many, many years. And this year, even though it's my first in Asheville, I'm involved with 3, which is actually the most I've ever been involved in. The one we did today, one we did with Gender Equality New York on Thursday, and the observation that's happening tomorrow night at New Belgium, which is led by Transmission. But I think why that noise was in the air is because I have said that while we should pause and mourn and dedicate ourselves both to memory and action for those we have lost, and we continue to lose at these horrifying rates, I actually hunger for and lean into and celebrate Trans Day of Visibility, which is in March, when we acknowledge with joy the lives, the art, the work, the power of our trans beloveds, because we have to do more than just tune in one time a year on one day to mourn the deaths of people we love. We have to celebrate life and the living every day. And if we see and we recognize the gifts and power of the trans community or any community in its fullness, you see, that is how we change the world. I'm glad you're with me on that, because no person, no people, no community thrives if our attention is corralled into just one day or even just 1 month of observation. Our broken places are healed, and we find the power and energy for transformation when we live together, when we see each other day in and day out, in good times and bad, when we're lazy on the couch and taking that nap or complaining, when we're surviving hardship and intensity of joy and weaving a web of relationship that can catch us when we come out and our threads come loose. Sometimes the power of communities like this one here are to be places of deep discernment, and it's the kind that can take actually generations to learn. For example, as we approach the observance here in the United States of Thanksgiving, we consider its history in a fuller context. And the historian Ben Railton writes, born in 1923, as part of the Okina Wampanoag tribe in Cape Cod, Frank James was from a young age a fisherman and a sailor, a draftsman and a builder, and a multi-talented artist. He was particularly gifted as a trumpet player, and in 1948 became the first Native American graduate of the New England Conservatory of Music, as well as the first non-white member of Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonium fraternity. I think that is a kind of a big deal, but I'm not sure. When racism denied him the chance to find a position within a symphony orchestra, he returned to Cape Cod, teaching music in multiple schools before serving for decades as the director of music for the Nauset Regional Schools. And over this time, he also became known by his chosen name, Wamsuta, a tribute to the historical Wampanoag leader and brother of the powerful but tragic Chief Metacomet. Now, that name reflected James's increasing prominence as a Native American leader, but it was at the 1970 Thanksgiving celebration in Plymouth that he fully embraced his role. You see, James had been invited to speak at the gathering, which was a commemoration of the 350th anniversary of the Mayflower voyage and the founding of Plymouth Colony. The organizers asked to see James's speech before he delivered it, and when they read his impassioned and righteous critique of the Pilgrims and the treatment of the Native Americans, they demanded that he revise his speech. Instead, on the night of the gathering, James and a group of supporters walked to Plymouth's Coal Hill near the statue of the leader Osamoquin. According to the group James founded that year, the United American Indians of New England, from that time in 1970 until this, Indigenous and First Nations peoples have declared and observed a national day of mourning. As they note, since 1970, Indigenous people and their allies have gathered at noon on Coles Hill in Plymouth to commemorate a national day of mourning on the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. Many Native peoples do not celebrate the arrival of the Pilgrims and other European settlers. Thanksgiving Day is a reminder of the genocide of millions of Native peoples, the theft of Native lands, and the erasure of Native cultures. Participants in the National Day of Mourning honor Indigenous ancestors and Native resilience. It is a day of remembrance and spiritual connection, as well as a protest against the racism and oppression that Indigenous people continue to experience worldwide. So many people look upon the week to come, this week that we are in, with nuance and with reflection. There's a very good reason to celebrate a time of gratitude and our awareness of the bounty of the earth and our good fortune to have friends or family or food. In other words, we have things for which we want to give thanks. That's worth celebrating. At the same time, to take in fully and to recognize the impacts of history, how we've been privileged, or how our families or our companion communities have known harm, is to acknowledge the broken places that we are trying to heal. It's not one thing or the other. It is all the things, all the time. And us, betwixt and between, trying our best to mend what we can and love ourselves and each other along the way. Now, that was the message that we got from one another this weekend, those of us who were participating in the startup led by our Southern Regional lead, Natalie Briscoe. Say hi, Natalie. Natalie! Woo! Thank you, Natalie, for all of you who are there. Can we give her a big shout out really quickly? And our lead, Kathy McGowan, one of our congregational people who work with congregations. And we had this messy, profound, glorious storytelling time where what happened was we kept coming back to the love that is at the center of everything and the way that we want to just keep showing up, doing our best, maybe doing a little more, inviting and including and dreaming of who we are becoming each and every day. And Kathy invited us to ask the question of ourselves every time we gather, Are we being generous in what we do and in how we do it and into whom we reach out? Love is the gold of our kintsugi. Generosity is the silver. Compassion and bravery are the platinum. We may sometimes be broken vessels, but this faith is our repair. It is our art. It is our power and our gift to one another and to a world which badly needs us. Oh, so badly. It also gives us a place to talk about how hard it is to live in a beautiful and broken world, one we love and in which we experience incredible pleasure and happiness and joy and contentment, but also the most intense pain and suffering and aching vulnerability. We learn how to human here. When I first arrived, I preached a word about hope. Some folks remember it because they mentioned it this week. Hope is a tricky thing. And I already preached that sermon, so I'm not preaching about hope today. But instead, what I want to do is end with a few words from my very good friend, Sean Parker Dennison, who wrote Hope. He quoted Greta Thunberg at the beginning, and it says, "Once we start to act, hope is everywhere." But Sean wrote, "We got it wrong, always looking first for hope, for motivation, inspiration. Only the desperate bearing witness to the beginning of the end can find a new way of being, a way to live within the magnitude of loss and the certainty of destruction. And by so doing, they bring the next world into being, one that survives despite resurrection being impossible and so many of our habits irredeemable from here on. Only by ignoring the obvious outcomes can we become ready for what is so rare we can call it a miracle. Hope is an obstacle, a barrier that keeps us from needing the new enough to become it. Hope obscures the truth we need if we're going to embrace the extinction of excess and understand the necessity that nothing will ever be the same. Nothing of this world can remain. The hope we need is on the other side of all that we believe to be true. Hope broken out of cages and prisons and carbon sequestration. Hope that has broken our rib cages and sternums in order to get us free. Hope that will always risk dying in order to survive. Once we act, hope is everywhere. Beloveds, we can do all of this because we must. You with your brokenness, and only more beautiful for the places where you have been and are mending. Remember what a gift it is to be here, sharing your wisdom and your journey and your own healing presence with others. May you and we rise again and again and again. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
And now we're going to sing. As you're willing and able to rise, we will sing hymn 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire.
All its
Thank you. We now turn to the work of the congregation. It's that time where we talk about the important things going on in between us. There's a reminder that we will be having a Thanksgiving Day potluck on Thanksgiving Day. So bring a dish. It's from noon to 2, and all are welcome. Today after service, Coming of Age is sponsoring a Soup to Go event. There will be soup for you to be able to take home to your families, and it supports their exploration and their adventure trips. And also, the Holiday Craft Fair is going across the hall. Please make sure to stop by and see what local artists have brought us. Now we'd like to invite any visitors to stand and introduce themselves as they're willing or able. Someone will be around with a microphone. So if you're willing, one. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Reverend Jamie Andel, and I serve San Gabriel Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Texas. And Natalie is my partner.
Welcome.
And I actually grew up Presbyterian, so Montreat is one of my spiritual homes. So it's really nice to have the combination of Unitarian Universalism in that spot.
Nice. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Simon Woolman. I live here in Asheville. My little guy was the one that was talking to you, asking a lot of questions. And we're happy to be here.
And said that you had immigrated here.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. Welcome.
I'm not a newcomer. My name's Tori, and we have, for all bashful newcomers and non-bashful visitors, a welcome table in Sandburg Hall. Please stop by there while you're over exploring the lovely crafts for sale.
Thanks, Tori. All right. Welcome, visitors, and thanks for being with us today. Let's make sure that all our visitors feel welcome at coffee hour in Sandburg Hall after the service. Our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service, and if you've missed them, we ask you refer to Thursday's weekly e-news as everything is described there. If you don't receive the e-news, you're welcome to ask an usher to show you how to sign up or email us at information@uuasheville.org. Our Community Plate partner this month is Beloved. You can contribute by writing Community Plate in the memo line of your check. The work and ministries of this congregation are entirely supported by the generosity of the members and friends who are its body, and those who find us for an hour or for a lifetime. This is why we celebrate generosity each Sunday with music and thanks. For you make us possible, and we give you thanks for that. for the gifts of your faith and wisdom, attention and presence, time and resources. We are grateful.
So it's your turn. Please rise in body or spirit, and we're going to sing a fun Thanksgiving song. We'll let the words come up so you know what it is. There we go.
It's good to laugh and move. And as we make our way out, hopefully you're going to come join us for that holiday fair and maybe a cup of coffee and good conversation. If you're one of our regular attenders, I hope you'll make sure to reach out to at least 3 folks you don't know today. That helps us grow and cast our circle wider. But I want to share before we sing our closing song these words. With love enough to cast out our fear, with gratitude for all that has blessed us down to our marrow, and with generosity enough to bless the world anew, let us go forth and return soon in joy. And now let's sing our closing song together. For those of you who are visitors or guests, their words are right here. We think you'll catch on quickly.